you know, consider that, you know, U.S. imports last year were $2.2 trillion. That is more than the entire GDP of all but 4 other nations in the world. It's, you know, we talk about, you know, China as the economic 800-pound gorilla. Well, if they are, we're the 4,000-pound gorilla because we're 5 times her size. So this has become a responsibility of the United States, which was exercised by President Clinton in interventions in the China Straits, and interventions in Africa, and interventions in Europe, and interventions in Latin America, a very activist presidency in foreign affairs, but one in which the model was to construct a coalition to back it. And we've obviously seen it in the presidency of George Bush in a much more unilateral fashion. The demonstration of this phenomenon is that the United States went to war in Iraq over the express objections of every other power in the world save one. And it didn't matter. That doesn't mean that the United States conducts itself wisely or well when it exercises this power. It means that this power and the attendant responsibility are going to be part of American political life and the life of the world, certainly for the next generation. Because there's no sign of anyone moving towards a trying to create counterbalancing power militarily, and it's very hard to see it happening economically, because, you know, the United States, it's one of these kind of interesting facts of economics, or of economic data. The United States has accounted for a pretty stable share of global GDP for over 100 years. We became the biggest economy in the end of the 19th century. And throughout the 20th century, with some blips, which usually reflected wars that greatly depressed the production of other advanced countries, World War I, World War II, the United States has accounted for 22 to 25% of global GDP. We do today, we did 20 years ago, we did 100 years ago. Other powers, you know, China is rising as a economic actor in the world. The United States is not contracting. Europe is contracting. Japan is contracting. That's where it's coming from. It's not coming from the United States, in part because we have been more adaptive. And we pay a price for that, incidentally. We pay a price. We put so much emphasis on economic success and growth and wealth that we have created a profoundly less equal society than the other advanced nations of the world. And we have more social stresses as a result. This is a cultural choice. Every nation makes cultural choices. For the next generation, every cultural choice, every political choice that Americans make and that Europeans make, and that in their own way, I haven't discussed it, the Chinese make, and the Japanese make, will be shaped by these 3 seismic changes in the way life on this planet is organized. This enormous demographic shift that we've never seen before, this new form of economic globalization that we've never seen before, and the rise of a sole superpower with no near peer, which we have seen before, but not for a millennium and a half.